Welcome to Bree's Lip Service. What's up, boos? So today I wanted to talk about seeing color. I was having a conversation. Well, I actually walked in on a conversation and I heard the guy saying, when I was in college, I was, oh, that's the good looking black guy. Or, and he was like, no, I'm just the good looking guy, not the good looking black guy. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, and what about you? And I just walked right in on this conversation. So I was like, yeah, and what about she's pretty for a brown skinned girl? A family member of mine, very close family member, said, we were talking about somebody, and she said, did you see her? She is such a cute brown girl. And I was like, And she's like, she's such a cute brown girl. Now, she didn't say she's cute for a brown girl, so I give her kudos, I give her points for that. But she said she's a cute brown girl. Now, depends on context, but I said, do you realize what you imply when you state that? And she said, no, what do you mean? I'm just saying that she's cute. And I said, but to add that she's a brown girl, and you being a black woman, that's strange to me. It implies as if brown girls aren't normally cute. Because, and they objected at first, like, no, I'm just saying she's a cute girl. I said, really? I said, so if the girl was light-skinned, would you have said, she's such a cute light girl? You have never once in your life heard somebody say that. Never once. Now, description is different. If you're like, oh, did you see such and such daughter? Do you know her? No. Well, she's like short, light skin, really cute, really pretty. That's very different. It's nothing wrong with seeing color. And this is the point I'm getting to, because what I realized is when I walked in on the conversation that I was speaking of earlier, and the guy was saying, no, I'm just the attractive guy, not the attractive black guy. We were having two different conversations. I was talking about seeing color and discriminating because of seeing color. And he was talking about not seeing color at all. And the only reason why I knew that is because later on he spoke of his daughter, saying that his daughter is in a class. Let's just say the little girl name is Haley, not the daughter, but her friend. So she's like, yeah, my friend Haley, ... And he's like, which one? Because she has two friends, Haley, right? A white one and a black one. And she was like, my friend Haley, the one who I really love her hair. Like, I really love her hair. She has cool hair. He was like, okay, like that doesn't help him, like, which one? She was like, the one that I really like her hair, that Haley. And he said, it really fascinated him that she was not describing her based on her color. She wasn't saying, yeah, my white friend Haley or my black friend Haley. Now that observation I think is, great, because kids don't discriminate, normally, typically, depending on the circumstances. Sometimes when you grow up in a certain household, you do discriminate against color because you've been taught it, right? But most kids don't discriminate in that way. So it's like, my friend, they're going to pick whatever is bigger for them, the description, and for her it's the hair, it's not the color, But also, I would go a little bit deeper. I would ask, we didn't have time for this, I would ask, is the black Haley light or brown? Because see, if black Haley is light, then I could see why she wouldn't say black Haley. You get what I'm saying? So there are degrees to this, but nonetheless, innocent kids typically don't, see color. They just like their friends, right? And so he found that to be like fascinating, but he still was like, well, wait a minute, but which one? And the mother was like, shh, don't do it. He was like, and I'm really woke, so I didn't realize what I was about to say was like wrong or whatever. And right after he said that, we had to begin our meeting, like what we came here for. So right in that moment though, I got, we're talking about two different things. I'm talking about stating that someone is black for a negative reason, or that they're dark for a negative reason, or implying that it would typically be this way, but they're not. It's just like, a white person brings a black spouse home, the white mom or the white dad is on the phone call with, you know, one of their family members, and they like, yeah, John, you know, done brought home a black woman, but she's a really pretty black girl. You know, she's a pretty black girl. She's smart, she's intelligent, and she's successful. That is implying that typically they're not. So he got a good one. He got a good black girl, you know? So I think we need to be aware of what we're saying and how we're saying it and how we're using color. Nothing is wrong with seeing color. It's interesting to me that the man that I'm speaking of, he didn't have a problem with addressing, well, wait, is it the black one or the white one, right? Because he's black. We understand that nothing is wrong with seeing color because it's who we are. But the mother is white. I find every time I hear the statement, like, I don't see color, you know, I don't live my life that way, we just shouldn't see color, it's always coming from a non-colored person. Like, it's always coming from white people. For me, that's so they can relieve their own white guilt, right? It's so they don't have to address the elephant in the room. No, you must see my color. If you don't see my color, then you don't see me. Not fully and completely. And so the object of life, I was about to say of the game, but this is life, this ain't no game, right? But the object of diverse or multicultural situations is to actually see it and see the beauty in it, right? Find the things that are amazing about it, about the person, that's the right way to go, in my opinion. I think the wrong way to go is not see color and erase, you know, a whole part of my being. Like, I'm a black woman. For you not to see that I'm a brown-skinned black woman, that's a problem for me. You're erasing who I am, my history. Come on with this, we don't see color, you know, mess. And no, it's not being woke not to see color. It's actually going to sleep. It's pulling the wool over your eyes. It's closing your eyes. To not see color, you have to close your eyes. To see color, you have to open your eyes. So you're woke when you see color, but you're even more woke when you see color and don't discriminate because of it. Like, I get this a lot on set or in corporate settings or just when I'm around, like, you know, more white people and they want to point out someone, but that someone is of ethnic, like, background. Like, maybe they're black, maybe they're Asian, maybe they're, you know, Latino, like, you know, and so it's like, yeah, do you know Bob? And I'm like, no, I don't know Bob. Which one is Bob? Well, he's over there standing in the crowd. Okay, which one is Bob? He's they get real, like, they don't know what to say because they really don't know. Should I say he's black? Like, please, white people, all my white brothers and sisters out there, this description, nothing's wrong with description. It's when you use it negatively. So if you say, yeah, do you know Bob over there? No, I don't know Bob. Which one is Bob? Oh, he's the black guy over there with the hat on. Nothing's wrong with that. If it's a group of black guys and that's all it is, then yeah, describe something that's, you know, on him. If it's a group of guys, even if you don't want to say his color, which that stands out even more, that tells me you have an issue with color. That tells me you have some sort of guilt around. It's like, it tells me something about you, and you should have no nervousness to say what a person is. I'm never going to be like, it's a group of black women over there, it's only one white girl, and I'm like, yeah, do you know Susie? And you're like, no, I don't know Susie. Oh, she's standing right over there. No, which one is Susie? I would say the white girl. I'm not. There's the white woman, like, there's nothing. The Asian woman, the nothing is wrong with stating the fact, the description, but it's when you go, like, I had this guy, I was working on this short film, and this loud ass beep outside. I was working on this short film, and it was about 3 girls. 2 were sisters and 1 is a friend, and they do cyber crimes, right? So they basically scam, but via the internet, right? They steal people money via the internet. And so we were all the way up, like, in the boondocks, and I live in Hollywood and I don't drive. So typically I Uber around, and or catch the train, and or rent vehicles, right? So he was like, oh, I was looking for a ride. Like, is anyone going my way? And so he was like, oh, I'll take you home. I'm going just past you. So he dropped me off, and we had a wonderful conversation about race, and I just loved it because, You know, a lot of times, my white brothers and sisters, you know, y'all don't think that you all are prejudiced or I would say racist, but a lot of times you just, because you don't hate black people or you don't wake up wanting to like do black people in or all other ethnicities in and keep them down, and you know, because you don't wake up with that type of vigor or hate in your heart, you feel like you have no like prejudice at all, or no you know, white privilege at all, or you know, you just don't see the world in a certain way. And so it was very interesting because we got on the topic of race, and he stated something to the effect of like, isn't that what like all your films are about? I mean, look what this film is about. Because I stated something like, you know, the problem is viewing all black people as criminals. You know, that's the problem. I think we got onto like police brutality and stuff like that. And so it's like how you view people is how you react to them. Seeing us and automatically getting scared, thinking that we are a certain way, that we are, you know. And he said, well, I mean, look at what this film is about. Like, tried to use the film as an example, like, but isn't that what y'all do? Everything y'all do is about guns, da-da-da. I said, you know what's so funny about that? I said, one, it's not true. I said, but what's so funny about that? I said, is y'all have more content than any black person does about killing people, drugs, about theft, about... I said, these girls, they're doing this for a reason, but you look past the reason, right? You look past the reason why they're doing it. But your guys, you can make so many mobster films. I said... the leading white women, they always running around, you know, being the badasses and stealing shit and being a undercover op and all this stuff, and they're not always for the good of what they're doing, you know. So why can you look past that but you can't look past this? I said, that's so interesting to me. You have way more content out there than us, so you have way more negative stuff out there, but you don't view white people as that. You don't go viewing white women as like, oh my God, they're going to rob me, oh my God, they're going to kill me. They just keep playing assassins, they just keep playing these badass women, and so when I see them in person, they're going to kill me. Like, you don't do that. And he was like, damn, I never thought about it that way. Yeah, because they made you think you have your own. The thing about white people is, the thing that really scares them is to realize that they've been brainwashed just like we have. So my white brothers and my white sisters, and I don't hate white people, to be very clear. I do know that we live in this world with racism and white privilege and white supremacy still, and it's getting worse in my opinion. I don't care what nobody says, it is not getting better. And so the only way it gets better is if you, my white brothers and sisters, who actually know that there is an issue, who actually want to actively do something about it, it starts with you. You don't have to get on no bullhorn and march around the town. You don't have to do none of that. It starts with you looking in the mirror and saying, where am I prejudiced and how can I change this? And when it happens within your family, at your dinner tables, at your Thanksgivings, at your Christmas, at your everyday dinners, at your everyday gatherings, when you hear something, correct it. Ask them why they feel that way. Tell them why they may be wrong. Tell them why they might want to think about it a different way. Even if nothing is happening, ask them their opinions on Black Lives Matter. Ask them their opinions on something that just happened in the news that was dealing with a black person. This is how you change the narrative. People want to always talk about governments and, you know, it's just systematic. It is systematic, but guess who run the systems? People. And guess a majority of the people who run the systems? White people. So you have to talk, everybody has to talk about this, but you specifically have to change it within your community and culture. Racism does not change without the majority, because the majority is inflicting it. Black people, we can big up our communities. We can, you know, make our communities strong. We can make our dollar strong. We can do all the things we need to do so we can succeed and thrive and be happy. That has nothing to do with them. But we cannot end racism. Only white people can do that. Only the oppressor can do that. Only the people who have been oppressing and continue to oppress based on race can do that. So I'm speaking to all the white people out there. One, see color and see the beauty in it. Two, if you want to take from cultures, which nothing is wrong with that, it's saying, wow, this is so beautiful that this culture does this. I'm going to do it. There's no way you're going to wear a kimono and not say it's a kimono. You're going to give it the props. It's kimono. It's from the Japanese culture. So when you wear your cornrows, say, I don't mean that, but when you wear your cornrows, say it is cornrows. I'm just loving my cornrows from, the African culture. It's so beautiful. I'm so glad that they, did corn instead of going to the islands, getting your cornrows and just my Bo Derek braids or whatever you want to call it. When you do that, that's when things will change. When you start to acknowledge that you're taking, because that's all you've done in this society up till now is take, and not acknowledge where you've taken from and not acknowledge what cultures have allowed you to thrive and succeed. You don't believe me? Do your own history. All these inventions that you use every day, see who created them. And you'll find a lot of Black people. I was watching Red Table Talk about should white people adopt Black children. That is a huge topic. That's something to really think about. Like, can you raise a Black child in this world, with the things that they're going to come up against and just knowing their history and stuff? And the answer is, yeah, you can if you are set out to make sure you teach them their history and for them to know who they are and also expose them to their culture. And not keep them only in the white culture and that's all they know and see and hear and and that they know who they are, that they know that they are Black and mommy and daddy is white. All this, we don't see color and they're just my daughter or my son. Like, you are setting them up for failure, self-hate, all of those things. You're setting them up for that if you do not go into it knowing full well your responsibility. And that's why I chose to speak on it, because not only did I have that realization in that meeting, but then right after that, I watched Red Table Talk, and then the actress, I forget her name, she's from what is the show called that was turned into a movie? Sex and the City. One of the actresses on there, she was on Red Table Talk. She actually adopted 2 Black children, and she was shedding light on how you go about that and, how she has chosen to do it. And I say more, so much kudos to her, because she understands that, no, I do live in a privileged world. I have to get Black girlfriends, Black male friends with kids, and I have to expose them to that. And I have to learn about the history and teach them their history beyond slavery. I have to ask questions, like take classes. Like, she had to take classes, like, to learn about hair and all of that stuff. Like, you cannot just go into it like, oh, I'm just going to raise them with love. It's like, no, you must see my color. You must. Or you erase me, point blank, period. And that is the problem we're having in this world. Most people are seeing color for negative reasons, or they're erasing your whole being. And that's why they are so comfortable with taking culture and appropriating it without giving props to where it's coming from, because in their mind, I don't see color. It's just the state of the culture, right? This is just pop culture. No, it's not pop culture. Your cornrows are not Bo Derek braids. Your cornrows are not boxer braids. Your cornrows are cornrows from Africa. Your injected ass, your injected lips are from Black culture, Black women. Of course, there's all different types of people and all different races, but we know who majority had plump round butts and plump round lips and big noses, okay? So let's give props to where props is due. We're not saying you can't wear it, okay? Hip hop culture, Black culture has became pop culture. So now you're appropriating it, that's fine. But when you appropriate it, know who you're getting it from. Give props to where props are due and love people because of who they are, not in spite of it. Like, come on with the nonsense. See color and see the beauty in it.